Assalamu alaikum students. I welcome you all to SM Public Academy Campus 5, and today we will be having our literature class. So I want you all to take out your literature books, okay? And make sure that you open up The Merchant of Venice and you have completed 3 chapters with your last teacher. So today we will be continuing with Shylock is Defeated on page number 11. Okay, and you all know I'm Mrs. Sabarif. I am your English teacher for this session. So I hope we'll be having a good time together, and make sure you follow the rules and regulations for the online class, please. And if there's any question, any query, kindly put it in the chat box and wait for some time. As soon as I see it, I'll make sure I answer your questions. Okay, so we are doing The Merchant of Venice, and you know what this play is all about. You have already started it with your teacher before, and we'll be only continuing with it. Okay, so shall we begin? I think we should begin because we have given 5 minutes to the students to join, and now I think we should begin with our class. Okay, so let's begin. You all know where we are. We are on page number 11. Okay, so let's have a quick synopsis till where we have read. You know, all know that Portia wants to help her husband and meets Dr. Valerio. Dr. Valerio is the lawyer who is Portia's cousin, and she meets him, and he lends clothes and gives advice to how to defend Antonio. She is accompanied by her maid Nerissa. They are disguised as a male lawyer and his clerk. So basically, when Portia comes to the court to help Bassanio and Antonio, she is not looking like herself, the beautiful Lady Portia, but she is actually disguised like a male lawyer. And her maid Nerissa is dressed as her clerk. Okay, and she takes the permission from the Duke for the judgment, and the Duke gives her the permission. And so finally, she decides that Shylock can have a pound of flesh. Now, basically, by this time, Shylock was very happy with Portia because he was thinking that this young lawyer is actually talking in his favor. He is talking actually in the favor of Portia, and he's saying in the favor of Shylock, and the young lawyer is saying, okay, you can have the pound of flesh, and Shylock was praising him that, oh, what a good lawyer you are, and you are giving a very good decision and this and that, because by this time he does not know that actually what Portia is up to. So he was very happy, Shylock, with the young lawyer. Okay, so let's start reading forward, and I want you all to follow where I'm reading, and make sure that if you have any questions, you put them in the chat box. Okay, so let's move on. Okay, we have more people coming in. Let's see. Let's just quickly enter them. Okay, so before he could use his knife to make even the smallest cut in Antonio's skin, Portia stopped him. Now, what is Shylock? Shylock is all ready. He's all set to cut out the pound of flesh from Antonio's chest, and Portia comes forward and she stops him. She says, "Okay, stop, stop, stop." And why does she stop him? Let's read. "Wait," she said. "I have something else to say." Okay, let me just admit these more students coming in. You come late and then you just disturb the class. Okay. "The words of the agreement say clearly that you may take a pound of flesh, but there is nothing in it to say that you may take even one drop of blood. Antonio's flesh you may take, but if you spill a single drop of blood, then all your property must be given to the state. That is the law of Venice." So basically, now what is happening that she stops him and she says, okay, you can have the pound of flesh, but there is one thing that you can't do, and what is that? That you can't actually have any blood. You can't spill a drop of blood, and if you do so, then all your property will be given to the state. Now this is actually where she is tricking him. She's saying, okay, you can have the pound of flesh, you can have it, this is all yours, this is written in the agreement, but this is not mentioned in the agreement anywhere that you can actually spill a single drop of Antonio's blood. Now, see, students, this is humanly impossible, because even if we get a very small cut on our body, the first thing that comes out is the blood. So, how is it possible that he can cut a pound of flesh and he can do it without dropping a single, drop of blood, or spilling a single drop of blood? And so, definitely, this is actually the wittiness and the smartness of Portia, and this is the advice of Dr. Bellerio, how he has, advised her to save Antonio. That okay, if you want to save Antonio, use these are called actually law quickness or smartness. You can say that she is using law. She's not saying anything that is irrelevant. She is actually using lawful means, and she's saying, okay, take the pound of flesh, but don't drop of blood. And this is not possible. And if you do so, then all your property will go. And as you know, that Shylock is a greedy and a miser man. So will he let this happen? That he will take the pound of flesh and drop the blood and give all his money to the state? Definitely no, because everybody knows he is a very greedy man. Okay. So let's move forward. Shylock stood completely still. He was so surprised and annoyed he could hardly speak. Is that what the law commands? He asked. So now he is confused, he's annoyed, he's angry, he is like all shocked, because before, like moments ago, he was just thinking that, oh, this lawyer is actually favoring me, and now he's actually understanding that no, she's not favoring him, or he is, because she's disguised. So he's not favoring me, he's actually telling me the law now. And he says, okay, is this like what the law commands? Is this what the law says? Because it's not written in the agreement that he can take a drop of blood also. Portia offered to show him the law on the subject. Gratiano could see how angry Shylock was and how he cried out, "Oh, wise judge! See Shylock, what a wise judge he is." So now, because the judgment is given from the Duke to the lawyer, so basically Portia is acting like a judge right now, and Shylock is saying, "Oh, so you are actually very wise. You are a very wise judge. See how you have actually trapped me. How you have actually, put me in this situation that I cannot take what I want. Instead, I am now myself thinking, what do I need to do, because I cannot go against the law in any way." And Gratiano, who was the friend of Bassanio, he was saying that, okay, now this man is furious. He's very angry right now and he's crying out. Okay? Okay. So Shylock then remembered that Bassanio had offered to pay back the money and even to pay him more. "I will accept your offer," he said to Bassanio. "Pay back 3 times as much as I lent Antonio, and then I will let him go." So now, because definitely Shylock is also a greedy man, so as soon as he just understands that, okay, now I cannot take a pound of flesh and I cannot, just meet my hatred towards Antonio, and I cannot fulfill my, hatred towards him. So, okay, now let's at least take the money. And so he's asked Bassanio, okay, fine, you wanted to pay me back the money. Now, come on, give me 3 times more the money. Now, see how greedy he is. That not once, not twice, but he's asking 3 times more the money. And, he's saying, okay, give me the money and just let's end this up. He is actually now being greedy. "Here it is," said Bassanio, holding up the money. But Portia would not allow this. A little while ago, Shylock had refused the money, and now he should have nothing, she said. So now Bassanio, because he was always willing to help Antonio and he wanted to help his poor friend who was actually in trouble because of him. So Bassanio said, okay, fine, come on, let's have the money and, just take the money. But Portia said, hello, you can't have the money. You just can't have nothing, Shylock, because within this court, with standing in this court, when previously we asked you to show mercy, and we asked you to, refuse to take your pound of flesh, or just to have mercy on Antonio and take the money, you refused. You said, no, I don't want the money. I want my pound of flesh. And you were actually yelling that, no, I won't have mercy. I want my pound of flesh. So you have already refused to take the money. And once you have refused standing in the court of law for something, you cannot again go back to it. This is not your home, or this is not the street that you say, okay, I do this, and then next time you say, okay, I won't do this. So you just can't have it. It's all done. So now you see how witty and how smart Portia is, that she did not let him take the pound of flesh, and she's not even letting him take the money. She's actually acting very smart. Shylock, very angry, was about to leave when Portia called him back. Wait, she said, there is another law we must remember. If anyone plans to kill a citizen of Venice, half his property must be given to the citizen, and other half must be given to the state, and the Duke may order any other punishment he thinks is right. Kneel in front of him and pray for mercy. So now, Shylock was like, he said, okay, fine, I am defeated badly, and now I'm going. And soon as he turns back and he's ready to go, he's set to go, Portia stops him. She says, okay, wait, there's much more coming towards your way. And it is that because you plan to kill a citizen of Venice. And the law says that if anyone plans to kill a citizen of Venice or to kill basically a Christian person, then half of his property must be given to that citizen, another half to the state. So basically, you will not get the pound of flesh, you will not get the money back. Instead, you have to give. And what you have to give? You have to give all of it, all of your property. Half of it will go to Antonio and half of it will go to the state. And not only this much, if the Duke decides to give you any more punishment, maybe a death sentence or maybe lifetime imprisonment, that is up to him. He can do whatever he wants. So now kneel down in front of the Duke and ask for mercy. So see, this is the turning point of the story. Here is how you can actually, if you like picturize it, how it would have looked that this person who was so powerful and so strong moments ago, and who was so merciless and so cruel, and he was saying, I want my pound of flesh, and now he was not showing mercy. Everybody was asking him, show some mercy, take the money, take twice the money, take as much money you want, and he was refusing again and again. And now he is actually at the hands of mercy, that now he has to ask for mercy, because now he can be imprisoned or he can be given a sentence of death, and definitely all his property is already gone. Shylock had so recently refused mercy to Antonio that he could not now expect mercy for himself. But the Duke was not as cruel as the moneylender. So you see, basically what happens, children, that once you have been very cruel to somebody, and if in the next phase you expect, the other person to be merciful, so the first thought or the first thing that comes into your mind is that why would this person now show mercy to me? Because when it was my time to show mercy to this person, I was being cruel. I was not showing any mercy. So why would the other person? Definitely, this is the first expectation that we have, that if I am not showing mercy, the another person will definitely not show mercy to me also. Okay. But the Duke was not as cruel. The Duke was actually a kind man. I will show you that man can be much kinder to each other than you think. You lose your life. Now the Duke is telling him, okay, fine, I'm not like you, because I can show you that actually people are born generous. You can be generous, you can be kind. It's a good thing to be generous and kind, and I am not like you. And the first thing I'm telling you is that I'm not taking your life. I am not giving you a death sentence, okay? I will tell you this even before you ask me to save you. So he's saying, okay, before you come to your knees and you pray for mercy, let me tell you that I'm not taking your life, and let me tell you what I want. Okay. Did Beta Abdul Rahman, I think there's a problem with your internet, because other students can hear me. If you cannot hear me, there's a problem probably with your mic or with your internet connection. Okay, so don't worry. Okay, let's move on. Okay, and then he says that, but you must give half your money and property to Antonio and half to the estate. Okay, so he's saying that, okay, I'll not take your life, but definitely as by the law, and you have to abide by the law because you are standing in the court, half of your money will go to the estate and half of it will go to Antonio. And now Antonio showed mercy to the moneylender. I will not take my share of Shylock's wealth, but he must become a Christian, he said. So Antonio, because he's a very kind and generous man, as we all know since the beginning, he's characterized by his generosity basically, and that was the reason why Shylock was jealous of him, remember? That he used to lend money on without taking any interest, without charging any interest. He was such a generous and kind man, and this thing used to affect Shylock's business. So he was not like Shylock. He said, okay, I'll not take my share of money, but first thing is that you must become a Christian. Now Shylock is a Jew, and he has a bitter hatred towards Christians. So he says, okay, you have to be a Christian. First thing is this that he says. Okay. Then, and now, again, the last line, Shylock was also forced to sign a will. This will said that Jessica, his daughter, and Lorenzo, her husband. So basically, now we are talking about Lorenzo and Jessica, who are the daughter and son in law of Shylock. Okay. Now, what he must do, Shylock was also forced to sign a will. Will is what you write when you die, somebody would inherit. Okay, so this is the will. He said that what will happen with them, they should receive all of Shylock's money when he died. So basically now he was supposed to write a will that all his money will go to his daughter and Lorenzo. Now, who was Lorenzo? Lorenzo was a good friend of Antonio's. Not long ago, Jessica had run away from her father and secretly married Lorenzo, a Christian. She had taken some money and jewels with her when she left home, and Shylock had been very angry. So basically, this is the background story of Jessica and Lorenzo. That Lorenzo, there were two reasons for Shylock to hate Lorenzo. First of all, he's a Christian, so Shylock has a bitter hatred for him. Second thing, because he's Antonio's friend, and Antonio's again, he as he believes his enemy. So he says, okay, that you know, because when Jessica wanted to, definitely she knew that her father would not agree to this marriage. So what did she do? She took the jewels and the money from her father, and she left home and she ran away with Lorenzo, Antonio's friend. So this was the reason why what had Shylock done. Shylock had, like disinherited her from all of his property. That okay, my daughter Jessica will not get anything from my property when I die because she has run away with a Christian, and I don't want to give her anything out of my wealth. Okay. At first, he could only shout, "My daughter, oh my money, oh my daughter, she has run away with a Christian. How can the law help me now? Oh my money, my daughter." Shylock seemed to be just as worried about his money as he was about his daughter. The moneylender had said that he would not leave Jessica any money when he died, and he would never forgive her. So now basically, because he's definitely a businessman, his business is lending money. So, and definitely he has love for his daughter also because she is his blood. So at one point he was shouting, "Oh my daughter! I mean, how can I forgive her? How can I let her go? How can I, spare her for marrying a Christian and running away from home and taking the jewels and everything with her?" And another point he was shouting, "Oh my money, how can I you know let all my money go to the state and to my daughter and people, and I'll be left all poor." And he is just shouting out of this thing that, "Oh, what should I do? What should I do? I have no money. I'll be left with no money, and I'll be left with nobody to take care of me." The Jeweler knew that he must obey Portia's and Antonio's commands. "I am ill," he cried. "Let me go home. Send the agreement to my house. I'll sign it." So the Duke let Shylock go, and the trial ended. So basically, this is the end of the trial, and actually, it was a good ending for people because definitely for Shylock, definitely it was a very bad ending, but he was not a good man and he deserved that. This trial actually happened because he had been not letting go. If he would have taken the money and maybe double the amount, then this trial would not have happened in the first place. So because he made the trial happen and he, went into the court and he demanded for the flesh and everything. So for this reason, definitely he had a okay, children, I'll take your attendance. Don't worry. So he had this thing that, okay, fine, I'm all lost, I'm all defeated now. And he portrayed that, okay, now I'm ill, I'm not feeling well. Because definitely he just got out, he just got a trauma that, oh, I have not only, like, he came to the court, he was thinking, oh, I'll take a pound of flesh and I'll kill my bitter enemy and I'll, seize I have a good name and everything. And now he is left. He did not get the pound of flesh. He did not get the money. Instead, all of his money is given. And then the daughter he refused to meet, and the son-in-law he never wanted to see. Now he's actually he will have to give his half of his the Antonio's share to them, and and the rest of his will they will inherit. So he has a feeling that he's all defeated right now. And finally, the trial ends. So, students, so far, do you have any question? Do you want to ask anything? Is anything not understood? Let me know. Let's move on. Let's have a quick review from what we have read. And if you don't understand still anything, please let me know. Portia decides, okay, I have some questions here. Let me see. What are the questions? Okay, all cleared. Very good. That's nice, Emil and Fatima. Thank you. Okay, Portia decides that Shylock can have the pound of flesh as long as he doesn't draw blood, as it is against the law to shed a Christian's blood. So basically, in that time, because it was the Christians ruling at that time and it was the Christians' empowerment time, so there was a rule that you cannot take the Christians' blood. So because Shylock decided such a thing, so what happened that he couldn't have the pound of flesh, and he also lost his money. And what was the reason that Portia gave that you cannot have the pound of flesh? Because you cannot drop or you cannot spill a single drop of blood. Since it was obvious that to draw a pound of flesh would kill Antonio, Shylock denies his suit. So basically, what happens that he is a very clever man. He says he's a greedy and a clever man. He says, okay, fine, if I cannot have the pound of flesh, then let's give up this suit and let's take the money from Bassanio, right? He says, okay, fine, give me the money, 3 times more the money. But this can definitely he can't even have that. Moreover, for conspiring to murder a Venetian citizen, Portia orders that he should forfeit all his wealth. Half is to go to Venice and half to Antonio. So, who's a Venetian citizen? A citizen of Venice. Okay. So, because he has conspired to murder or he has planned to murder a Venetian citizen, who is the Venetian citizen? Antonio. So because he has decided that, so Portia orders, okay, all your wealth is going and half of it is going to Venice and half of it is going to Antonio. Antonio gives his half back to Shylock on the condition that Shylock gives it to his disinherited daughter, Jessica. Shylock must also convert to Christianity. So Antonio is a generous man. He says, I don't want the money. Now remember, children, Antonio is such a nice man. He's such a generous man that although he knows this thing, that his ships have not returned, by now he knows that he has lost everything. Maybe his ships have been destroyed by the storm in the sea, or maybe they have wrecked, or maybe they have been looted by the pirates, whatever. But his ships are no more there. He has no money. But still, he did not take the money. He said, no, no, I don't want your money. Just give it to your daughter. Give it to Lorenzo and Jessica and let them have a living. And but the one thing he says is you must convert to Christianity. Okay. Shylock, now completely broken, accepts the situation. So what is not Shylock doing? Shylock says, okay, fine, I accept the situation. And he says, okay, I'll, sign the agreement, send it to me. I am ill, let me go home. And the trial finally ends. Okay, so this is the review of the lesson we just finished. Okay, so let's have your comments. Come on, comment me in the chat box. Do you think Shylock is a villain or a victim? Because you can have your own point of view. I have written my point of view here. You can have your own point of view. Do you think he's a villain or a victim? Can you answer me in the chat box, children? What do you think he is? Is he a villain or a victim? What do you think? Yes, can anybody tell me? Villain. Everybody thinks he's a villain. Oh my God. Why everybody thinks he's a villain? Why is he a villain, children? Shylock is a villain. Okay, Shylock is a villain. Why do you think he's a villain? Why is he a villain? Tell me that also. Can you tell me why is he a villain? Because he does bad work. Okay, that's nice. Because he does bad work, that's why he's a villain. Okay. What bad work did he do? What is the bad thing that he did? What is the bad thing that he did? Can anybody tell me? Because he's a not kind-hearted. Okay, he's not kind-hearted because he tried to kill Antonio. He's a greedy man. Yes, exactly. These are the reasons you can give. That these are the things why he is a villain. So I think Shylock is also a villain because in the Merchant of Venice, and my reason is because they purposefully tried to kill Antonio. Okay, Mahnur, that's right. That's true actually. Good. So Okay, he insists on the fulfillment of a bitter bargain that will result in someone's death. Also, he takes high interest from anyone who takes a loan from him. He deprives his daughter of her share, and he hates Christians, and he's a miser and a greedy fellow. So I think all these reasons, but you know, children, when I see the whole story and I picturize it, I have a feeling of a 5% somewhere that maybe he is a victim of also this thing, that because he was a Jew and Christianity was prevailing, so he was not actually given that. There was a bias, you know, decisioning also at that time. Although in this trial it was fair, but maybe why? Because see, we always think why he had so much bitterness for the Christians. Why was he so much against the Christians? Definitely, he must have faced something bad being a Jew, or maybe this is my personal feeling, but that is just 5% of it. Other way around, 95% of it, I believe yes, he's a villain, definitely, because he is not a good man at all. I agree. He's very cruel, definitely. That's true. He's cruel. He's not a good man. Okay, so now I'd like you all to answer a few of my questions. And when I ask you to unmute yourself, please unmute and let me know what is the answer to that question. Okay, so who should I ask first? Come on, let's see. Okay, Abdullah Mehboob, are you there? Can you answer my first